What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to Her Styles TV. I'm here at work and I have a time between clients, so this is going to be a chat it up, and I'm going to talk about Tyler Perry's A Fall from Grace. It's a Netflix film. It was released on January 17th, and I have to say this movie was good, and it was good. So it was starring Felicia Rashad, Cicely Tyson, Brisha Webb. Now I only know Brisha Webb from uh, what's the movie? Acrimony. And who else is in this? Makad Brooks, which he played his part. He played his part. Oh my gosh! So if you haven't seen it, this is going to be a spoiler because I'm going to be talking about the movie. And also Crystal Fox is in it, and she plays on the Have and Have Nots. Even though I don't really watch that show, but I know her from that. Who else? It was a lot of people in this movie. Even Tyler Perry was in this movie. So it takes place in, I guess, a small town in Virginia where a woman, Grace, played by Crystal Fox, is arrested for killing her husband. And Brisha's character, which is Jasmine, is her court appointed lawyer. And looking at how they do court appointed lawyers, no wonder these people be going to jail. They just be like, get this done quick, fast, in a hurry, plea, and send them on their way. I'm like, don't they supposed to be getting some type of training when they do? Like, isn't these are beginner lawyers, attorneys, and this is how they get their practice? So why just plea if they see that this person has a good chance of not going to jail? But that was that. So I got my notes here, and the movie started off crazy. Lady jumped off the roof. So Brisha's husband, not Brisha, Jasmine's husband, what was his name? I forgot his name, but he was a little cutie pie. I was calling him Trey Songz Jr. because he looked a little bit like Trey Songz to me. But her husband is a police officer, and my phone. And he was called to the house, which actually is Sarah, which is Grace's best friend house, and she jumps off the roof. So at the beginning, she was just like, I have nothing. I worked for everything. And she like, I don't have nothing to live for. And just jumped off the roof. I was like, so this how we start the movie? Okay. All right. So Tyler Perry played Roy. He's the head public defender. He gives everyone their cases and what they should try and what they should do. Because like I said, I think public defenders, this is like kind of their training when they first become attorneys. And so he was just like, get it done. It's an open and shut case. All right. So let's see what else happened. When Jasmine and Grace met up, Grace was looking a hot freaking mess. Like, shoo, she was, like, she lost everything. She was in jail for killing her husband, and her hair was a mess. Everything was a mess. And she was talking to Grace, and she was like, how old are you? Because she seen she was young. And she was like, what school you went to? And I'm like, lady, what does this matter? You are in jail for killing your husband. Why should you just want them to win? It don't matter what school you went to. Can you do the job? Okay, well, let's go. And then so after Grace met with after Jasmine met with Grace, she went, I guess she had it wasn't a girls' night because her husband was there, and the two people she worked with, Donnie and I think her name was Tulsa, was there, and they were talking about the case. And Donnie was like, I think you should look more into this because this is a model citizen. She never even had a traffic ticket, and how she ended up just killing her husband. he was like, you need to look at this, because this woman was baking cookies for kids, and she was doing all this community service and all of that. So, um, so after Donnie said that, Jasmine was like, whatever, Donnie. And she went to bed, but she couldn't sleep because what Donnie said was stuck in her head. So she got up and started looking into the case. And she was like, okay, I think there is something here. I think Donnie had a point. So Sarah, which is played by Felicia Rashad, and Grace are like best friends. And Sarah was there for Grace when Grace was divorced. She had been divorced for 7 years. Her ex-husband was married to a younger girl. Then her son got married, and she just felt like she was lonely. And Sarah was like, well, you need to get back out there. First she was like, why don't you go on Christian Mingle? I was like, oh no. That is a no. So she was like, just get back out there. I have a photographer, and he has a showing. Computer, what are you doing? And he has a viewing. So I think you should go to the viewing and at this art gallery. So that's where she meets Shannon. Shannon is played by Makad. I forgot what all he's playing on, but he's played on a lot of stuff. And at first I got him confused with Jay Ellis from Insecure, but no. They just kind of favor, but he's bald. Jay Ellis not bald. But he was the artist. His name was Shannon. And he was, I guess, this eclectic artist. Well, he's a photographer. And they had him dressed like, I guess he's supposed to be artsy. And let me say another thing. These wigs. That is the first thing I took notice in the movie. I was like, Tyler Perry, your studios is here in Atlanta, Georgia. Why are these wigs looking wiggy and terrible? So the only two wigs that was bad was the two main characters, Shannon and Grace. And like I said, Shannon, or Makad, is bald for real. But they put this, I call it the picky head look, where all these young boys are wearing, where they just have hair on top of their head, not doing nothing to it. That's what kind of wig he had, but you knew it was a wig. And then Grace's wig, I was like, he looked like he went to the beauty supply and got this. Come on, sir. And then Tyler Perry's wig, his looked decent because his was a little fro. But I'm like, sir, you are in Hair City. Come on now. But anyway, that's the only thing that really got me in the movie was the wigs. So when she met Shannon at the art gallery, he took a liking to her. You know, older woman, younger man. I was like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. And so after the art gallery, because she liked the pictures, he sent a picture and a rose and his phone number to her job. She was I don't know what she did at a bank. I think a loan officer or something like that. But he sent it to her job. And she was just grinning ear to ear like somebody's showing me some kind of love. She was like, and then he's young. She's like, I don't know about this. And so then she waited a while to call him. So she finally called him. They started going on dates. She was staying up late talking to him on the phone. He would pop up on her at work and bring her flowers. And he was just the picture perfect guy. And they were dating about 3-4 months. Then he proposed. I was like, I'm side-eyeing you, Shannon. So he popped the question. I think they were at the Botanical Gardens. So he popped the question. And of course, she said yes. So they had the wedding. Of course, her son wasn't happy about it. And, they was, being the newlyweds. That sex scene, I was like, oh, oh my Lord. So they was just, being newlyweds, having fun. So then stuff started changing. The honeymoon was over. So um, one night, Grace woke up and Shannon wasn't in the bed. So she went downstairs. He was on the phone. And she was like, who are you talking to? And he didn't say nothing. He kept talking. Then he was like, all right, I have to go. And then he got off the phone and she was like, who are you talking to? And he took his time. He was like, there's two things I don't like. You questioning me and questioning my whereabouts. Excuse me, sir. It's in the middle of the night. I don't know what time it is, but she was asleep. So it had to be late. And you on the phone with somebody. Of course I want to know who that is. So that was the start of the turning events. Then she went to work, and next thing you know, she's seeing all the corporate people coming into the bank. And she like, okay. But at the time she was talking to Sarah about him being on the phone late at night. And she was like, Sarah was like, oh, that's just men. And I was like, no, Sarah, that is not just men. And so they call her into the conference room and they like, we did an audit and there's $317,000 of missing from your accounts. And she was like, say what? Say huh? And her boss was like, this is not like you. What happened? And she was like, I have no idea. And he was like, you're fired. Oh, Lord. So she got fired from a job and she was like, they know me here. How could they do this to me? Them people don't care. They don't care about your bills. They don't care about your family. They just care about you doing your job. They can know you, smile in your face. Y'all can be friends, go out to dinner. But when something happened, oh, you are on the chopping block. And that's what happened to Sarah. And so she went home. She was talking to Sarah. And then Shannon popped up. She was calling Shannon. Shannon nowhere to be found. And so he come in the house strolling and was like, I need to talk to my wife. And Sarah was like, well, I am her friend. And she was like, okay, you can leave. I'm like, oh, all right now. So she was like, who you was talking to again? And so he pulled out these pictures of these kids where he took her to propose at the Botanical Gardens. And he was like, I just thought you would like this. And she was just like, oh, well, I'm sorry. And I was like, oh, no, he's reeling her in. So after that, she started investigating. No, she went to her mortgage company and they told her that her account was drawn $4,600. First, I'm like, ain't no bank gonna let your account get overdrawn that much without just closing it. And that she was behind on her mortgage payment. And she's like, what mortgage payment? My house has been paid off for 4 years. And she was like, you took out another mortgage. Here's your signature. And she was like, I did not sign this. And the lady was like, it was notarized. By who? And she was like, here's the address. I forgot what notary she gave her. She went to the house. It was an abandoned house. Nobody lived there, but there was mail still piled up. I was like, something ain't right. So she started investigating, and she got the surveillance of who signed for her mortgage. Lo and behold, it's Charmer Shannon. I was like, what in the world? So she asked Shannon about the money. And he was acting stupid, like, what money? You know what money she talking about, sir? So he was like, then he tried to be out, oh, Grace, I needed the money. I owed these people. And she was like, that is not your money. Um, no. She talked about the mortgage. That's what he was like, oh, I needed it, da 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 da. Then she was like, you took the money from my job. She was like, I need that money. And then he just went berserk. And he was like, you better be glad I got two phones, because he broke his phone in the midst of arguing with her. I was like, oh, no. So then he said after that, do you know the marriage laws in this state? He was like, everything you have, I have. Oh, excuse me? So she just was like, no. Then, on top of all of that, she come home one day, it's a strange car in her driveway. And I already knew. I was like, I know he didn't. I know he didn't. I know he didn't. She goes in the house, nobody downstairs. She hears a noise, goes upstairs. Shannon done brought somebody home and having sex in their bed. And he threw her out talking about, you gonna respect my privacy. And the girl was like, is that your mom? He was like, no, my mom looked better than that. And after he threw her out the room talking about respect my privacy, she goes downstairs and just sits. I was like, girl, if you don't go get a pan, some water, go throw it on them, get a knife saying if you don't get out, something about to go down. You better get something, not just go downstairs and sit. Ain't no way, ain't no way, ain't no way. But it's a movie. All right. So she sits downstairs. Wait till they come downstairs. They come downstairs hand in hand. He walks her to the door, and they kiss, and the girl go on her merry way. Now, before this happened, when he started acting up, the funniest part to me, when she was trying to get him out her house, like, you going to get out my house, and he wouldn't get out. So he was like, I need an ashtray. And she bring it. And she was like, get out of my house. He was like, ashtray, bitch. was like, oh my gosh. I was like, she should have put his stuff out and changed all the locks. That would have solved it all. Since you don't want to leave, I'm gonna make you leave. So anyway, after the whole sex scene, and he comes downstairs, and he just lit him a cigarette, started talking about, I loved you, but I done loved you in a way that you love me. I just came and brought some joy into your miserable life. And he was just going off and going off. And she was just sitting back there, like, you could tell, like, the crazy wheels was turning. The crazy wheels was turning. And then she got a bat and just started going ham on his head. And this was another side I had for Tyler Perry. Like, after they showed him, after she beat him, I was like, sir, I could tell that's a dummy. I was like, Tyler, come on. So after that, after she told Jasmine that whole story, Jasmine was like, let me fight for you. Let me fight for you. So then, they was going to court. This is a new attorney, so she don't have that much experience in the courtroom. And so the defending judge, or the prosecuting judge, was getting her. But she was trying to hold her own until Sarah got on the stand. And Sarah said that she called her and told her she killed him. That was freaking it. So after that, um, after they was coming to their closing remarks, Jasmine's all of a sudden like, I want to call Sarah to the stand. And the judge was like, ma'am, you rested. Ain't no coming back from resting. You rest your case. So you can't come back after that. And she just kept saying, I want to call Jasmine into the stand. I'm going to call Sarah to the stand. And he was like, ma'am, I'm going to find you in contempt of court. And she kept saying it, and she went into, he found her contempt, and she had to go in the jail cell. And so Donnie had to do the closing remarks, which I knew he was happy about. And so Sarah was found guilty. So when they handcuffed her and took her to the back after she passed Sarah, she saw that Sarah had on the same necklace as Shannon when they met at the art gallery when they first met. And I was like, what the hell? Wait a minute. Is Shannon and Sarah got something going on? And then Grace just started thinking of how this could happen. So she figured out how Shannon got her account numbers from taking pictures with her laptop open or her computer at work. That's how he got the account numbers. Then when Sarah left her house, when Shannon came home, Shannon and Sarah brushed hands, and she set the whole thing up. So in the end, In the end, it turned out that Sarah and Shannon were mother and son. I thought they were together, like as more than mother and son, because after that trial, after she got out, she went to Sarah's house because she saw Cicely Tyson. I forgot what her name was, but she was playing that role. Cicely Tyson out walking, so she took her back to the house and she heard noises. And Cicely was like, I don't want to be here. I want to go home. I live at 2989 Sycamore Street, which was the notary place. And she started like, well, what? Sycamore Street? So Jasmine went to investigate the noises, and come to find out they had all these elderly women in there, and Sarah had all these elderly women in her basement locked up, and Shannon wasn't dead because he attacked freaking Jasmine and tied her up. I was like, oh God. At first I thought it was her husband, because he veered off. And I gotta say, he is the worst police officer ever. Who handcuffs people and say, stay here, I'll be right back? He did that twice. I was like, sir, what? That is not in your training. You don't tell them to stay here. You put them in the back of the car or wherever. I was like, you are the worst police officers ever, Trey Songz Jr. But then he went to Sarah's house. Sarah said Jasmine wasn't there. He called her phone. He heard the phone in Sarah's house. He kicked the door down. Him and Sarah, Felicia Rashad was throwing everything at him, tussling. He handcuffed her and said, stay here. No, she ran out the door. And then he went downstairs. Shannon came and tackled him, and they were fighting. Jasmine got a loose. She shot Shannon, and that was the end. But I think there's going to be a part 2, because at the end, Sarah was like, she was a caretaker, was at these people's house, like, yeah, I take care of elderly women. I love, taking care of them. I was like, ooh, it might be a part 2. But all in all, the movie was good, other than some production issues. But I'm glad this one was on Netflix and not to the movies, even though I think he would have made some money from the movie, but he got a Netflix check. But I want him to do better on these wigs. Sir, you are in Atlanta. And yeah, so let me know if you saw it yet. Let me know what your thoughts about the movie And yeah, so that's it, folks. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Hit that notification bell because I don't have a set schedule. So you'll know when I post a video. And that's it, you guys. So I will see you on the next one.